Everybody, happy Tuesday. We're a little late today for our PragerU Kids Facebook Live that we usually do every Tuesday to bring you all up to date. This one's for the parents and the grandparents and the teachers that tune in. Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Simonian, Director of Outreach for PragerU Kids, and of course, our PragerU Resources for Educators and Parents membership program that we want all of you, parents, grandparents, and educators to join us to form a supportive network and foundation for the betterment of our schools and children. Hi, Amala.
Hi. I'm always here somewhere, guys. You just never know which seat you're going to get me in.
I know. You're in the right seat. You're in the right seat today. I got to tell you, Amala, I was not sure whether or not we should talk about this particular headline that we have today. Mm-hmm. Sex ed curriculum used in Richfield schools. We have an article that we're going to share in the comments section. This is from Alpha News. Our friend Kyle Hooten wrote this article and sent it to me last week as a very alarming wake-up call. And what we talk about every week here is what's appropriate, what's not in schools. Obviously, we talk about critical race theory a lot, as that is a hot topic. And most of our parents now who are in our PrEP membership program, part of PragerU Kids, more and more we have very concerned messages and notes about the radicalized sex ed that is being injected into our curriculum. Amala, let's see. You have the article.
I do.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Am I allowed to say the title of this article on air?
I mean, sad but true. You might as well, yeah.
Okay, I might as well. The article is in here. I'm a parent of 2 small children, so I am always very selective about what I say on the internet, online. Here's the title. I'm reading it. Sex ed curriculum used in Richfield schools, this is in Minnesota, asks students to role play gay sex scenarios. Now that title headline is obviously very incendiary, alarming. You know, it elicits a reaction. But in going through this article, Amala, have you had a chance to read it?
I have.
Okay, so I want to quickly run through. There's this sex ed, and this is for informational purposes for all of our parents watching. These weekly lives that we do are for you parents here. This sex ed that is in this Alpha News article. It's called the 3 R's, which stands for rights, respect, responsibility. Sounds fabulous.
Does. The left always sounds fabulous.
Those are all words that I believe in as a parent. Rights, respect, responsibility. And this curriculum was developed by Advocates of Youth, which is an organization that is partnered with Planned Parenthood. Again, this is in school district, in the Richfield schools in Minnesota. It's authored in large part by former Planned Parenthood employees. So right there, we have a skewed curriculum with a particular politicized point of view that is in this school. So they call this a comprehensive sex education. But as Amala scrolls down, and I really encourage everyone to read what's in this article because it is shocking. We have scenarios in this curriculum that that directs teachers to instruct students to pretend that they are transgender and making a decision about whether or not to have sex. We have, in this curriculum, teachers are directed to give first graders the picture book called My Princess Boy, which is a controversial story based on real 5-year-old boys' experiences with cross-dressing. The language of transgenderism is introduced at the earliest levels of education in this 3R curriculum. One lesson designed for, and this is all in the article, I'm literally reading this. In one lesson designed for kindergartners, the teacher is directed to refer to a woman as a quote unquote person with a body part that begins with a V. I'll let you guys read it because I don't want to say this on air. I'm a mom of 2 little kids, and you know how the internet works these days, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing. All of this is described in this sex ed curriculum that is highly radicalized and frankly takes away parents' rights to be able to know what their children are learning K through 12 about sex education in these schools. When you went through this article, Amala, was there any part of you that, are we even shocked anymore? Or are you like, yeah, this happens?
This happens. Yeah. And it's weird that as we go through this subversion of our society, that everything just becomes normalized. It becomes way more normal now to see this happening. Whereas if you had shown me this 5 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy.
Exactly. If I would have seen this a year ago, I would have been like screaming my head off. Here's the interesting part. So in this article, when you guys read this, there's a video where a few parents and child advocates speak about this curriculum. They do say that out of the 60 school-based studies, no credible evidence of effectiveness was found for sustained reductions in teen pregnancy or STDs. So the reason why we do believe in age-appropriate sex education for students is to prevent these dangers that can happen to them so that they are educated. But in radicalized sex ed like this, it's not reducing the thing that we're trying to prevent against. So then we ask ourselves, what is the point? Why is this in our schools? And it leads me to think, why are these things being taught in our schools, but standard fundamental educational lessons are not?
Right, because that's no longer the goal of education anymore. It's not the goal to prepare kids for life. It's not the goal to prevent kids from experiencing harm or going through different struggles in their lives. It is to push ideology. So they don't care about that. They don't care that their stats are not coming back with kids with lower teen pregnancy rates and lower STDs. They care that I've indoctrinated somebody.
Yeah, which is so sad. Do we have any comments about this? Are there any Minnesota parents that are watching that might have firsthand knowledge about this?
Yeah, if you are from Minnesota, let us know. I see we've got a bunch of comments, a lot of angry parents. Linda says, this is so wrong. God protect us. Paula says they have no right to be teaching students this. This is a parent's place to teach this subject. Rick says our public schools are now government indoctrination camps. Molly says they're implementing this crap in Kansas schools. People need to be arrested. Kat says, disgusting. None of this should be taught in school. It's time for teachers to start teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, and real science, and real, not revisionist history. Just my humble opinion. And lastly, Melissa says, this is shocking. How do we make it stop?
How do we make it stop? Keep going to school board meetings, keep getting involved, keep demanding that as parents and grandparents that we're able to opt out of these types of lessons. The best way is to get ahead of knowing what is coming down the pike. Go to your school district, go to your board meetings, demand that you see the curriculum that exists in your school district. This particular curriculum, the 3 R's, this is what this is called. So be aware, this curriculum, this radicalized sex ed happening in Richfield schools in Minnesota is called the 3 R's, and it is not new. It has been in place for a number of years. And parents are provided opt-out information in advance. No student is required to participate. So that is a silver lining. But again, for the parents who maybe are busy, are working full-time, are not on the front lines of this constantly, because it does take a lot of energy and time to constantly be on alert and on guard. It's hard to get ahead of this, but that's our job as parents right now. Regarding revisionist history, there was the parent that you said, they're tired of their kids being taught revisionist history. I have something for you today. I have something. Who was that? You probably lost the comment. I would love to address them by name.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
That's okay. For all the parents that are wondering, why are our kids being taught sex education and revisionist history in lieu of classical foundational history? At PragerU Kids, we are trying to help you. Today, this is like a weird segue, but I'm going to do it anyways because I have it here. Today is the launch day, you guys, for our Otto's Tales book. Today is Columbus Day. So let's guess what this book talks about.
History?
Instead of giving children books called My Princess Boy and trying to get them to question whether or not they were born as a male or female, why can't we give them books about history that detail what happened when Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean in 1492. This is what our youngest learners need to be learning. This is what we are giving to you here from PragerU Kids. Once a month, our Otto's Tales books are for kindergarten through second grades. And what do you know? Were you taught about? Because Columbus Day is being canceled. That's the irony in all of this. We have Columbus Day being canceled across various states. Children are not being taught about who Christopher Columbus was, why he was important to America, why he was important to Western civilization in the Western Hemisphere. Yet they're being taught about cross-dressing and role-playing on whether or not to have sex as a transgender. Anyways, what do you know anything about Christopher Columbus? Were you taught about Christopher Columbus?
I had an interesting progression of my education on Christopher Columbus. At first, it was in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean. Blah,
I love
blah,
that
blah.
rhyme. Yes, I love it.
And then the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you know the ships. That's good.
Thank you. And then as I got into high school and started getting into, the people's history of America and Howard Zinn, and then learning about how Columbus is not the great man that you think he was. He's a genocidal maniac who thought the Indians were stupid, and you did that. I did that whole progressive arc. And then obviously I came out on the other end of, wow, we stand on the shoulders of giants and we spit at their feet. And
Right. Well, here's the thing. I am not opposed to learning the full, well-rounded truth of what happened.
Absolutely.
Do I think kindergartners need to be forced how to process that? No. Kindergarten through second grade, our youngest learners now are being indoctrinated, and they're not being taught that Christopher Columbus is a symbol of perseverance. It took him 8 years. Fun fact, Amala, it took him 8 years to convince King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to give him the money to sail across the ocean. Did anyone know that? Anyway.
The hustler.
Yeah, exactly. Columbus is an example of the immigrant experience to America. He is an example of what it means of discovery. He had no maps when he sailed across the ocean. He's a symbol of perseverance. I'm glad that you knew the names of the 3 ships, because nowadays kids do not know those names. But these are the foundations. I know. But this is the foundation, for better or for worse. This is the foundation of America. He sold natives into slavery. He didn't invent slavery. There were atrocities at that time. Those are all things that can and should be discussed at higher levels of education, in high school, in college, when children have developed the brain power and have the skill set to really navigate those complex issues and discuss them in a mature way. It's unfair to focus only on the sins of these historical figures who had such an impact on the eventual creation of the United States of America. Yeah. So our Otto's Tales, today's Columbus Day book, is on sale, available now. If your child's school is not teaching about Columbus Day, if your child's school has canceled Columbus Day, maybe get a couple copies for their library or their kindergarten classrooms or the first grade classrooms. I think we have the link in the comments. I got to tell you, I shared this book on my own social media last night, and I immediately got a ton of hate for it already.
That's the name of the game. That's par for the course, honestly. You bring up Christopher Columbus and suddenly it's Indigenous Day.
It is. And that's the thing. Vermont, Washington, D.C., New York, these are all places, I think California too, these are all places that have completely canceled Christopher Columbus and traded it for Indigenous Peoples Day, which we obviously respect and admire our Indigenous people here in America. No one is trying to discount, the existence or the contributions or the wisdom that, that they have provided to the foundation of America. But come on, you can't cancel the guy who brought Western civilization to the Western Hemisphere. You can't cancel it. Any comments about Christopher Columbus? Any parents who have
there's some trolls giving the usual talking points about
give a troll. Hey, trolls.
Let's see what he said.
Wink, wink.
It was he is a symbol of the tyranny of the West, and when they invade poor nations and colonize them and leave behind nothing but a trail of blood and death and destruction.
Okay.
Leave behind nothing except the greatest form of government, the greatest country to ever exist, the literal free world.
The free world.
He left behind nothing more.
Nothing more.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like love to the trolls.
I will say, Sammy Dotson said this about the story that we covered in Minnesota. This is my district, and my son goes here, and I had no idea.
Dun, dun, dun.
Isn't that wild?
That's wild. That's wild. Look up the article. look up the article, be informed. I'm glad we were, what's the phrase? If you can just sort of open one person's eyes, it's all a step toward improvement and progress. Opening one parent's eyes one moment at one Facebook Live at a time every Tuesday here with Amala and Taylor. Thanks, you guys. All right, listen up. Just to wrap it up, every week we just pop on here. We want to open your eyes. This article that we shared was very disturbing to me as a parent. We just want to call everyone to action, parents, grandparents, child care, teachers, educators who are amazing and really stand against all of this radicalized curriculum in our schools. We need each other to continue to go to the board meetings, to continue to be informed, continue to stand up against this, opt out, and take back our kids' education with the resources that we are giving for free to, well, this book is not free, but our videos at PragerU Kids are free. And we're trying to counter all of this radicalized stuff that is being directed at our children. Check out our books, check out our PragerU Kids videos. We're here for you, and join PrEP, PragerU Resources for Educators and Parents, for added support and information to really take back our education system as we're able to, one family at a time and one district at a time. Any other questions or comments? Get the book. Actually, this was one of my favorite books that I read.
Oh yeah,
this is one of the favorite
out of the whole series.
This is one of the favorite ones. It really is. It really is something special. And a little teaser: in a couple weeks, we have Michael Knowles, the famous Michael Knowles, doing the video story time of Otto's Tales. Today is Columbus Day, but we'll talk about that later. All right. Any other questions, comments?
Cool 88905 just said, yeah, sure. We don't have to be reverent and worship him, being Columbus, but if you aren't teaching that he was, but if all you're teaching is that he's a slaver and a monster, you're not being honest, which is a fair point.
Thank you. Stand in truth.
She said if you aren't teaching that he was a slaver and a monster, then you're being dishonest.
Well, either way, I mean, it's fine to say that this person owned slaves, or it's fine to be honest about the facts of people, and it's not.
Yes.
We don't have to. We're not saying we need to put him up on a pedestal, but right now, you're the ones that are being dishonest by trying to cancel this guy and erase him from history. And he did achieve a great thing for Western civilization, and he did persevere, and that is something to be acknowledged. And why would we bury that? That's dishonest.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. Stand in truth. Stand in truth. Thanks so much, you guys. Join us at PragerU Kids. Have a great rest of the week. Don't be too scared when you read the article about the Richfield School District, but I encourage you to read. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye, guys.